of muharebe, being waging war against God, mofsefel as, which refers to the corrupt on earth.
Well, muharebe does have some sort of description in the actual law of Islamic punishment, and it includes crimes to people taking up arms against the existing order. But mufsid, or corruption on earth, does not have any understandable actual definition in the law. The definition is left to the judges to decide.
Ираджем Месдаги, который был одним из героев этого фильма, я прошу его пройти сюда. У нас будет небольшая дискуссия, около получаса. Я задам ему, просто попрошу сначала описать какие-то общие вещи, а потом у вас будет возможность задать ему вопрос.
So the first question is about your biography, because this was not depicted in the movie, and that's why I think the audience would like to know some more information about your life, and more specifically about your life after the massacre and after the moment when you escaped from prison.
I was studying in the United States, California, before the revolution of Iran, 1979. Towards the revolution, I came back to Iran, but after a couple of years, I was arrested. And I was 10 years in prison, in different prisons of Iran. I survived that massacre, and also I had a very hard time situation in prison, especially being 2 years in solitary confinement, being in a box, like a coffin, for 6 months, blindfolded, and also some different tortured during the time. And I escaped Iran with my wife and with my son. He was 25 days old. We escaped to the mountain, and we had a very bad situation there. In Turkey, we were arrested because of smuggling to Turkey. And also my wife was arrested, my son was arrested with 25 days old. We were in prison for a couple of months. And then we came to Sweden. I work on human rights issues, and I write some books. And sometimes I have as an expert, I have some interview with BBC, VOA, and the other mass media. And also, for many years I was active in United Nations, Human Rights Commission, Subcommission, and European Parliament.
Теперь тогда о фильме уже. Как появился фильм, насколько эта история, вот, кто эти люди, которые другие свидетели, то есть насколько это, видимо, все беженцы из Ирана, то есть насколько эта история типична, в общем, немножко в контексте этого фильма, того, что происходит там, в институтах, которые там упоминаются, вот, в тех самых Международном суде, трибунал иранском, как он появился?
The victims, the family, those who were in prison, and we could gather them. And also, first of all, we had a fact-finding committee in London, and also Truth Commission in London. Then we had the Iran Tribunal in The Hague.
Я думаю, так, в общем, мы уже картину сняли. Вы можете теперь задать свои вопросы, пожалуйста, поднимайте руку, вот моя Александра будет подходить. Можно как вопросы задавать, так какие-то комментарии по фильму. Да, следующий.
First of all, thank you very much for bothering to taking your time to come to our country. I guess I will share the opinion of the most people here that it is an honor to have you here. And I've been to Iran a couple of months ago, and well, my question is about the religious freedom now in Iran. because I've been to Yazd, and there is quite a big community of Zoroastrian people, I mean those who profess this religion, and I went to a museum of Zoroastrian culture, and I spoke to the guide, and we talked quite honestly for some time, and he said that actually Ayatollah Khamenei, well, he wasn't really fond of political regime in Iran, but I remember he told me that actually Ayatollah Khamenei said that Muslims should accept other religions and live in peace with Christians, with Zoroastrians, with like everybody who's living in Iran. So, it's quite confusing because what I saw in the movie is completely contradictory to this opinion. Could you please clarify this?
You were talking about the Syrian in Iran, the minorities. You see, 85% of them who were executed, they were Muslim and they were Shia. You see, let me tell you something. Maybe, as I heard, 250 Baha'is are living in Moldavia. You see, Baha'is is an Iranian religion, but they are not recognized. Those people can have their own religion here, the Moldavian, but in Iran they cannot have their own religion. They cannot go to university. They cannot work. Hundreds of them were executed. What Iranian regime says is completely false information that they give you. And maybe, yes, I know some people are living in Yazd, what you said, Zostari. They are a recognized religion. But even they don't have their own rights. They cannot be a member of even city council in those cities that Muslims are majority, because the other cannot be representative of Muslims.
In your statement, you indicate that your husband's trial and that of his comrades was broadcast on the public television station. Is that correct? Do you have a copy of that broadcast?
آقای حسین تاجگیر ریاحی اصفهانی و شما ترور افکار می‌کردید. حالا کدام یک آقای ریاحی، کدام یک شدیدتر، ترور افکار شدیدتره یا ترور بدن؟
Какую роль играет этот массакр, который был?
Да, каким образом говорят о том, что было сейчас, да, в Иране. И второй вопрос о том...
Какой эффект был над социалистами и марксистами, которые...
This massacre is a red line. The Iranian people cannot talk about it. And this is why now even you cannot hear anything about that in Iran. As you see in the film, the one who was in the death committee now is Minister of Justice. The other one is a candidate for president right now. And you can guess what is going on in Iran. The other one is the deputy of Supreme Court, 3 of them. And I must tell you that 93% of leaders of Tudeh party, which was a communist party supporting USSR, were killed in that massacre. But you haven't heard one word from USSR. And they didn't condemn it. They didn't even have any, they didn't do anything about that. But I can tell you, still there are some Marxists in Iran. There are some, socialists. They are not, free to work, but still it exists.
How come that after the moment when Shah left the country and everyone promised democracy, Iranian people got another dictatorship, but religious?
You see, the Iranian people, they wanted freedom and democracy, but they didn't know what does it mean. They didn't have any experience of democracy, or they didn't know even anything about that. Therefore, in that time, Khomeini, he promised people, freedom, democracy, and even he says that Marxists are free to have their own belief. But it was not true. After the revolution, they started to suppress the others. And this is why thousands of activists were killed. We didn't have the experience, what I can tell you. In those countries that people are not free to learn, to understand, to experience. Therefore, after the revolution or after the movement, the people like Khomeini can get to power.
So, if you would know beforehand that Khomeini would take the power and put the religious fundamentalism, so how would you change this if you had this opportunity? What was another right decision?
You see, I think that for the community like Iran, I think something like social democracy is the solution. Or we can go step by step. Everything cannot be solved like this. It's very difficult. And I think that Iranian people deserve that, and they can do it. In 1953, we had a nationalist government which was overthrown by the coup d'etat, which was supported by USA. If we had that government, we wouldn't have fundamentalists in power. And even now, we didn't have ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda. This is because of the coup d'etat in Iran. You see, after 1979 revolution, you can see jihadis in Afghanistan. You can see Al-Qaeda, you can see ISIS, you can see Taliban. These are the results of Iranian revolution. This is the result of Iranian regime which is ruling Iran. The constitutional revolution. It was even before the revolution of Soviet Union, 1917. Before that, we had a revolution in our country. We wanted, in that time even, we wanted freedom, democracy, and this is why we had that revolution.
Okay, have your work as a writer, as a documentalist about what happened in Iran previously influenced the current situation in the penal system of Iran? So, does anyone fear over there does it have any result, like connected with courts and with crimes and etc.? Does your activity influence the situation in Iran?
Frankly, no, because they are fundamentalists and they don't care about what we say, what we think.
Им просто все равно, то есть там не то чтобы кто-то боялся, им абсолютно все равно.
Ну,
и это никак не повлияло.
Тогда просто в продолжении мы, наверное, уже хорошо я уточню, и вашим вопросом мы закончим. В продолжении вопроса просто, тем не менее, вот Ирадж попытался с помощью информационной вот этой трансляции привлечь внимание к внутри, хотя в итоге все миллион. С точки зрения работы инструментов ООН, международных институтов, насколько он видит их эффективность и пытается ли он изменить эти инструменты, если видит, что они неэффективны, и как успехи в этом?
You see, due to international law, you cannot have, any international court for Iran right now. It's not possible. You see, International Court for Crime Against Humanity, ICC, it's about the crimes which happened after 2002. Therefore, it cannot deal with these issues. But because they are in power, it is not possible to have a court for the governments who are ruling the countries. This is a problem. This is why we had the court of people, and we try to refer to people and to make decision. Of course, it has some effect. Of course, people of the world will understand what's going on in Iran. Before, we had Russell Court for Vietnam. It was a people court. And now we had it for Iran. Maybe in near future it will have some effect, but still no. We should fight, we should struggle, there's no guarantee. If anybody says that I guarantee that, I think he's not telling you the truth. You should fight for that, to get it. And I hope one day we have democracy in our country, freedom in our country, equality in our country. And this is why I try and I explain what is right, what is not. This is what we can do, but we live in a regime which is more complicated than the other part of the world. See, where is our country? We have ISIS here, Taliban over there, we have Yemen in south of Iran. We have Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Azerbaijan and Armenian, in north of Iran. We have problems, If we were, for example, neighboring with Switzerland or Sweden, it was something else. Because these countries, they affect each other.